Good evening, and welcome to Creative Broadcasting, the station of unlimited possibilities. Presents Creating Your Seat at the Table with your host, Ashley Little, as she welcomes her guest to the table.
About myself, I'm a corporate professional by day, an entrepreneur by night. I'm a two-time best-selling author, host of Authors on the Rise, speaker, Forex trader, executive director of DMV Mastermind, co-host of the Tammy Collins Marquee radio show, co-founder of Sweetheart Scholars Nonprofit, owner and creator of Creative Broadcasting, co-founder and owner of Talk Radio and TV Network, LLP, sales and marketing, contributing writer and event correspondent for Swag Her magazine, and blogger and media for Black Women Hustle. Today we have an awesome guest by the name of Justin Burns. A little bit about him. Justin Burns is the go-to authority when it comes to online selling success in the digital age. Not only is he the brains behind the best-selling digital marketing book on the Expert Code, he is also the founder of Maestro, an online creation platform that allows for you to create stunning online courses with the fastest and easiest all-in-one platform available and broadcast it to the world in a matter of minutes. Welcome, Justin Burns. How are you today?
I am good. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. I'm excited to interview you today. It is an honor. So would you please tell the listening audience a little bit more about yourself?
Yeah. So I actually grew up on the south side of Chicago, born and raised. I had no parents who, neither one of my parents were entrepreneurs. Nobody around me was a business owner or any type of entrepreneur. But I was always really excited about little things and getting ideas. And, I think when I kind of got the entrepreneurial bug was back when I was 18. And I'll never forget, I was working at a company, we install home theater systems, and a guy was like, hey, I want to, bring you to my house and, hook up my theater system. And I was like, I shouldn't be doing this, right? But he was like, no, just come. I'm not going to pay this company. So I ended up doing it, and this guy kind of really injected into me that I needed to be an entrepreneur and really work for myself. And he sat there and he talked to me in his living room, and this guy had this huge house, this huge mansion. And he was just like, there's something that, special about you, kid. I don't know what it is, but, you just got to figure it out. And that was like the last time I ever spoke to him. But he planted that seed inside of me. It was a deep seed, and I never just forgot what he taught me and what he said that day. It just inspired me, and it never left. It never left. And so I ended up getting fired from every job. They used to always tell me, my friends used to place bets, right? They used to say, we're going to see when Justin get fired from his job next, right? And so I'm going to hold on to these various jobs every 6 months. And then people always ask me, Justin, did you go to college? And I'm always honest about it. I didn't go to college, but I didn't go to college for the various reasons that people think, couldn't afford it, anything like that, which we definitely couldn't afford it because we were poor. But I didn't feel smart enough to go to college. That was just the truth, right? So I didn't even attempt to go there because I was like, that's the special people. They smart over there, And then what happened is that, I always believe in destiny. I always believe that you'll always find your purpose no matter what if you stay on this path. And so a second opportunity revealed itself. I was fired from yet another job, which was actually amazing for me. I was fired from my last job, and my friend called me, and he said, hey, I got this opportunity I want to show you. And I was literally in the unemployment line at that time, and he called me, and I was like, dude, I'm not trying to hear anything. I'm trying to get a job. And he was like, you don't need a job. You just need the right opportunity. And he's like, you're a thinker, and you're a doer. So you need to align yourself. So he invited me out to California. I went out there, one-way ticket, really no money. And, we ended up building this company together, and we ended up selling it the first in my early 20s, and we built this marketing agency, and the rest is history. And here I am now, owning a software platform called Maestro. So.
Well, I would like to commend you on your journey. I mean, it's like I want the listening audience to know to never despise small beginnings, right? It's not about how you start, it's about how you finish, right? So you were fired from every job. So what would you tell somebody? What would you tell someone that's listening right now that might be going through some of the same thing? Corporate America just might not be for them. What would you tell them? What are some strategies you would give them on how to overcome it?
Yeah, so I have this premise, right? And it's something that I had to learn, and it took me 4 years to understand this. But the key to really, we as humans are more powerful than we think we are. We have, this ability that we don't even know, right? I didn't know that this 18-year-old kid with low depression whose father was a drug addict, who was fired from every job, would be able to transform himself into the man he is today. I didn't know that, right? And so the way that I figured that out was a couple key strategies. Number one is complete belief in yourself, right? And sometimes you got to fake it till you make it, right? Now, what I mean by that is that you got to sometimes fake it till you make it until you really get your mind to believe it. Because right now, if you don't believe in yourself, that's really just a programming issue. It's not really who you are, right? So what I had to do was I had to constantly tell myself stuff that I didn't believe over and over and over again, until one day I started to walk in it and I started to become that person. So that's the first thing, okay? You have to do that. The second thing is that you have to realize that, learning is the most effective thing that you could do. See, the thing about me is that I have the advantage. If you're sitting in corporate America or whatever it is, here's the thing. You have the advantage that other people don't have who have been handed all this all their life. They don't know what it's like to struggle. They don't know what it's like to go through tough times. You do. So what that does is it gives you the upper hand. And here's why. Because while they're comfortable, right, where they're sitting there comfortable, I'm sitting here reading books. I'm absorbing trainings. I'm listening to things. I'm always learning. I'm looking at my failures and wondering how can I turn them into wins, right? Those are the things. So if you are able to do that, if you don't take failure personally, if you don't take the things that happen to you personally, you may feel the feelings, right? But if you don't take them personally, you can always change your identity and win. And that's why in 10 short years, I've been able to go from the guy that society had given up on to owning a software business that's growing every single day with employees. And that's the key to winning, is just pushing past your comfort zone, learning consistently, absorbing different things that are really going to get you to the next level and achieve your success.
And you said some very key things that I want to repeat, that I want everyone to hear. Always learning, always remaining a student. And I think that that is very important for everyone. And, whatever journey you're on, to always remain a student, because when you stop being a student, you stop growing, right? And then you said looking at your failures and seeing how you can turn your failures into winning. Because people look at failure as failure. It's not failing. It's not a bad thing. It's lessons, right? It's lessons, and it's part of the process. And we have to learn to embrace the process and embrace being uncomfortable, because it's necessary for us to get to the next level.
Yeah, and it's so true. It's so true. And I would just say, I'm sitting right now, in pretty much, my living room right now, in my place, right? I just got home from the office, but I'm looking at a whole thing of books, right? I'm looking at a whole thing of books, and I pretty much read every single book, and some of them I've read twice. Some of them I've read 3 times. And I was just telling my friend this. I said, you have to be committed to mastery. And that is what I'm committed to. There was actually a book. I was telling him this the other night. We were out at dinner, and he said, what's your favorite book, right? And I said, I'm ashamed to say this, but I said, I read this book probably 15 times, and I still pulled nuggets out of it. And I turned it into an audio. I bought the audio book, and I probably listened to that about 17 times. right? And it's the 50th law. It's called the 50th law of power, right? It's by 50 Cent and Robert Greene. One of my favorite books because it talks about self-mastery. And one of the key things in that book it talks about, and again, I listen to it so much because I'm just like addicted to it, right? But it talks about that if you have the ability to master yourself, if you have the ability to master yourself, like you can move like the entire earth. There's nothing that will be able to stop you. There's nothing. It doesn't matter what people say about you. It doesn't matter what people think about you. Like nothing can stop a person that is has so much self-belief in themselves. And so when people doubted me, when I was bullied, when I was a kid, when I went through all of this stuff, when I was about 25 and I met my second mentor, that's one of the first things he said to me. He said, Justin, it doesn't matter what people think about you. If you have self-mastery and self-belief, nobody can ever stop you. And so I've pretty much lived by that since then.
And I love that, the ability to master yourself. Because it's all about, believing in yourself and having that mindset. And then you also spoke about something that's very valuable to everyone's success, is having mentors. You got to have more than one. More than one mentor, more than one coach is necessary. And we should always get, research before we get our mentors and our coaches and make sure that those people have been where we're trying to go and that they're at least 3 to 10 steps ahead of us.
Yep, exactly. I agree.
Yes. So, Justin, you are the go-to authority when it comes to online selling success in the digital age. So please tell the listener and audience more about your awesome accomplishments with online selling.
Yeah, so one of the things that I was able to do when me and my friend was building this company, one of the amazing, extraordinary things that I was able to do was really learn this internet thing, right? Like, to me, it was like when my friend would tell me about it, I was like, what is this dude doing? Is he like, because when he was telling me he was selling these digital products online, I just thought, he must be like selling drugs. He must be doing something. Because you are not like, you mean to tell me that people pay for your expertise? They buy ebooks, they buy courses online, and I just couldn't believe it. And I'll never forget one day we were sitting, this was probably back in 2009, we were sitting at this table, and he's like, I'm going to do this thing called a webinar. And I was like, what the heck is a webinar? This is 2009, right? Like now, for you guys are listening, you can start an online business like it's easier. You just have to get over the stuff that goes on in your head, right? But see, back in 2009, we didn't have all these page builders. We didn't have technology like Maestro. We had to figure out HTML pages. We had to hire people to try to figure this stuff out, right? Because these page builders just really didn't exist. So one of the things is we did this webinar. We were sitting at the table, and I'll never forget, he's like, I'm speaking to these people, and I was like, they're sitting on here watching you, like scrolling through a presentation, they're scrolling through a presentation, they're sitting there for a whole hour. I was like, I just don't even know if this is true. Well, then he showed me a shopping cart, and I think they generated about $70,000 in 1 hour from a simple online course. And that is when it changed the whole trajectory of me realizing this power of the internet. And so one of the things that we've been able to do is I actually have a background in actually consulted for the Oprah Winfrey Network and Sit Me Sit Dog Training, because back in 2009, 2010, everybody was just selling books. People were like, online courses, what is that? People are going to buy I'm selling my book. Everybody was just so book crazy, right? And so I was the one who was like, no, this online course stuff is going to be big, and people are going to buy it, and people will pay $500 a month. People will pay $2,000. People will pay $5,000. People didn't believe me. They thought I was crazy. And then fast forward to today, we're living in the digital age, and actually why I'm so passionate about this, Ashley, and especially amazing experts like you who serve their marketplace, who serve their customers in such a big way, I'm passionate about that, because if you're listening to this, I want you to understand something. You don't have information inside of you. You have transformation. And that transformation, if you take your knowledge and you take it seriously, can impact someone. Somebody showed me the internet because they were willing to take the risk. They were willing to take the chance. They were willing to go above and beyond, past their level of comfort zone, and have their work criticized and have their work put out there. But guess what? It touched a guy like me who has been able to transform his life because of it. So if you're listening to this, I want you to hear me closely, loud and clear, more than you could ever hear me than ever before, no matter what you're going through, no matter what business you are trying to build. The world needs. I notice I didn't say the world wants. The world needs your expertise. The world needs what you've been through in the world. And you just have to own it. And you just have to own your craft and own how great and powerful you are, because it could take a kid like me from the south side of Chicago who has helped millions of people generate money online and really help them to discover their greatness. So.
I love it, and I definitely commend you once again. And I love what you said. Own your craft and just step out and take those risks and do it anyway. A lot of people are still sitting on their dreams because they're scared to go for it. They're scared to fail, right? But it's part of the process. So, for anyone that's listening, just own your craft and just step out there and do it. And if you do fail, get back up, dust yourself off, and do it again. And something else you said as well, it took that one person, right, to really push you out into your destiny, right? Because you didn't know this could happen online.
Nope.
Right?
No, it was unfathomable. It was definitely, I would just say this, it was definitely unfathomable. Like, you couldn't pay me 10 years ago, you couldn't pay me $1 million to say, this kid was going to have a technology company that people use to serve their courses to the online. You couldn't pay me, But again, I just had that self-belief. I had the ability to face whatever I had went through in life. Stop using, this is another thing I always say. If you can really look at the bad stuff that you went through and you can shift it, right? Here's what I mean, right? A lot of people go through every single week and they repeat the same stories in their head over and over. Well, this happened to me. This is terrible. And it's not to say that those things aren't bad, right? But here's the thing. They repeat it as bad as their bad, as that happened to them because of them. When they don't realize that is their story, they don't realize that they could turn that into power. And see, that's the only difference between somebody like me, somebody like Ashley, somebody who's walking in their purpose. People who walked in their purpose went through bad stuff and had bad stuff happen to them.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But they just transformed it into something just way different.
Right. And it just takes that embracing the process, right? Because we all have a story. And I think sometimes people look at the accomplishments, but they don't understand that, we all have a story. But the difference between, someone that doesn't give up and somebody that quits, the quitter quits, but the other person, preserves and endures, right, and keep going because they're determined and it's the mindset that they're going to continue to be great with no excuses.
Exactly. Yeah, totally agree.
And you went from, knocking it out, breaking records, and now you own your awesome software company. And then you wrote a best-selling digital marketing book called The Expert Code. Please tell us more about this best-selling book.
Yeah, so I have a book called The Expert Code, and it was one of those things. I remember, when I got the idea for the book, because at first I wasn't going to write a book. I wasn't interested in writing a book. But then I was like, I need to tell this story, right? And I need to tell this story. And it was this story of how, like I said, this kid from the south side of Chicago who was, whose mother never made more than $20,000 a year was able to generate and build six-figure and seven-figure companies, right? And so for me, it was one of those things that I needed to get this information out of my head because I realized, how, sometimes I always say this, some people are too good for their own good, right? They're too good for their own good, meaning they do something so good, but they don't realize how good it is, and it's become so repetitious to them that they don't realize that if they taught that to somebody, they can monetize that, right? And so for me, it had got to a point where 3 years we were taking experts to different things. We were scaling them. We were doing these webinars. We had mastered social media. We had started to generate traffic to. I mean, there was 1 year, Ashley, and actually a couple of years ago, where I was so committed to taking action, right? I was just like straight taking action. That one of my websites generated over 1 million visitors to the site in 1 year. Like a million visitors to the site. And I when I looked at the stats, I was just like, oh my God. Like I hadn't even been watching the stats, right? And I was just like, I did all this from my computer. So I kind of put that into, the digital expert code or the expert code because it was just something that I wanted to get out of my head and really help people to do the same.
That is awesome. And, the main thing that you just said was just taking action, right? It was not even talking, we were just taking action. And I think if we focus on just taking action and ignoring the distractions and ignoring what people are going to say because they're going to talk about you when you're doing good or when you're doing bad, we could get a lot accomplished. You generated over 1 million visitors in a year.
Yeah, and people, and to your point, really quick, I went through that, and that was probably one of the hardest things that I went through. Like I used to think that the hardest thing I was going to go through was facing my demons, facing stuff. I thought it was going to be, other things. But the hardest thing was that when I realized that I was experiencing transformation, people around me didn't like that. They didn't like that. And I thought it was something wrong with me. It, like now I don't really care, right? But years ago, it was just like, why doesn't because my mom, she got to a point where she was on the bandwagon. She's like, you need to get a job. This entrepreneur thing is not going to work. And bless her heart, she just wanted the best for her son, right? So, but the thing is, she started telling my family, and then they start distancing themselves. So he's like, Justin is growing this business. I don't know what the heck he's doing. He's doing something digitally, and I realized, I was like, wow, and it hurt me because I really loved my family. And I was like, what am I doing wrong? Is something wrong with me? And then my old friends, I started hearing them whisper, Justin thinks he's better than everybody. And I'm like, I'm still coming around. I'm trying to teach you guys. I'm trying to teach you guys the wealth. And, I would sit in my living room and teach my friends this internet thing. And I'm like, dude, it's a digital product. You don't have to go work a job for anybody. You can literally sell this stuff online. And my friends were like, dude, you're weird, bro. Like, I don't know. And then they used to say, you're so obsessed with money. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I was like, we all need money to live. I was like, and I realized now, that is what we call the snapback effect, right? And it's called the snapback effect. Snapback effect is that nobody wants to be stretched past that initial snap, right? Nobody wants to be snapped past that. Nobody. And so if you're listening to this and you are experiencing that, and you're hearing me and you're experiencing that, you're going to experience the snapback effect, is where you're trying to go forward and people want to snatch you back. They're like, what do you think you're doing? And they will guilt trip you. They will make you feel bad. They will make you feel, but listen, that is what greatness requires. And there's going to be a period of time. There was a period of time where I had to walk alone. Because I call it the middle ground. And people talk about walking alone, but they don't talk about the middle ground. You know what the middle ground is? The middle ground is the most loneliest place to be, but it's where the most power is created. Let me tell you why. See, the middle ground is you're not really ready to consistently be around people of success mind, right? You can be, but it may take a little period of time to consistently have them in your tribe because your mindset needs to be reprogrammed. But here's the thing. The old people, you don't relate to them either. So guess where you are? You're in the middle ground. But guess what? That is where you gain your power. That is where you gain who you are. That is where you gain what it is that you do consistently over and over and over again. And then you transition to where you get around people and they're attracted to you, the people that are like you, the people that are surrounded around you. So you just have to go through the middle ground initially. You have to be able to go to the middle ground in order to really get to that next level. So.
And that is so true. You have to go through the middle ground. It's going to happen. And we have to be okay when we walk along. It's part of the process, right? And you're right. It is a lonely time. It's lonely. Yes, it is. But you are right. It's when you be the most creative because you are focused. You are focused. And then the people that fell off, because as you continue to elevate, some people just not going to be able to go with you to that next level because their time is up. We have to let that go and embrace the process. I just wrote a book on that. You know, just letting that go, knowing that sometimes, you know, people are seasonal and they're not part of that next chapter, right? And some people are lifetime. Right. So we have to embrace that and not get distraught or emotional when they walk away. You got to let them walk away. Because you can't get to your next destiny if you continue to hold on because it becomes toxic.
Yeah, I agree, 100%.
Yes. So, Justin, you are the founder of Maestro, an online course creation platform that allows for you to create stunning online courses with the fastest and easiest all-in-one platform available and broadcast it to the world in a matter of minutes. Could you please elaborate more on this awesome company, this awesome idea, all of it?
Yeah, so you know, about 2 years ago, I had an idea of creating a platform because, you know, people, when they were building courses, I noticed it was very cumbersome. It was just very complicated to manage their members, to build landing pages, to have emails, to really have a true management system for managing their online courses. And so I kind of got this idea. I was like, what if we created a platform that really just made it easy to create a course in 5 steps? Because all this other software, you know, you gotta basically have a PhD and to master it, right? And then you're paying $500, $600, $700 a month if you do get into that. And so I decided to create Maestro, which allows people to create online courses, sell their landing pages, all these different things. And I'm just really so excited about what we've built thus far because we've been able to help so many people get their courses out to the world with this platform.
This is awesome. And I know I was reading an article that you was writing about, and one of them was about the lead magnet and how that's like the first step in the process. Could you elaborate more on that?
Yeah, so a lead magnet is when you think about there's this thing that, and I want to give you guys some really tangible teaching points. Like one of the things is that you really want to think about, right, is that when you think about a lead magnet, you know, I always have this analogy, right? It's called the law of reciprocity, right? So the law of reciprocity really states that if you give something, people will be obligated to give something in return, right? They feel obligated. So it's one of the laws of reciprocity. It's one of the laws of marketing, right? So one of the biggest things that you can do as an expert, one of the biggest things that you could do as an expert is to give people something of value. Now, so a lead magnet is something like a digital ebook, or it could be something they really want. So like, for example, you got to think about in your marketplace, what do people really want? And you give them your best stuff. Because if you give them your best stuff, guess what they're thinking? They're saying, I want to know what's on the inside of that. Like if they giving away this, I want to know what's on the inside of that. So like, for example, and for me, to get people on the platform, I have a lead magnet right now where I know that people who struggle with getting their online courses up, who's experts, I know here's what they struggle with, right? I know they struggle with all the components of online marketing, like how to write the outline, how to build the PowerPoint presentation. So I actually have this lead magnet that's a calendar that we created. And it's basically saying your 30-day course launch blueprint, your 30-day course launch blueprint. And basically I say, I'm going to teach you how in 30 days you can have your very own online course, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. So what you're doing is, it's like that's something that people really want, right? And then on the back end, they're asking, okay, that's good. How can I find out about your even better stuff, right? How can I find out about what it is? And then they're more prone to buy and sign up for your stuff. So you just have to, a lead magnet is thinking about what is it that people really want, thinking about what people truly want, giving them your best stuff, and then offering them the ability to work with you. And I always say this, Ashley. I tell people this, if you can have this shift in mindset, it will change your business. You don't need to convince people to buy. You don't have to force them to buy. You want to know why I say that? Because I hear experts say that and it makes me cringe. They say, you got to convince people to buy. You got to convince them. You got to force them to buy. You got to tell them until they. I always tell people this and say, people are natural buyers. Since we are kids, we're programmed to buy. So why do I need to force you to buy anything? Because you buying stuff right now. You're on Amazon looking at stuff. You buy stuff every day. Look, I got to force myself. All of us have issues. I'm a watch person, right? So people got to force me to stop buying watches, okay? we are all programmed to buy. Guess what you have to do? You have to put the right message that connects to people in such a deep way on an emotional, spiritual, and physical basis that they feel like you understand them, and then buying becomes effortless and easy. That's what you have to do.
I love that, the right message. That's the key. We shouldn't have to force people to buy anything because, like you said, Justin, we're going to buy what we want to do. We're going to do what we want to do. So we just have to have the right message. And it has to be of value. Of value. So what did failure teach you?
So what does failure teach me? Man, failure is like that 800-pound gorilla. You know, you don't know whether to love or hate it, right?
Right.
So I think but to set that up, I think that you have to have a love we all have a love-hate relationship with failure, right? But I think that the hate part is failure equals rejection. Failure doesn't, it doesn't look well, it doesn't feel well, right? But here's the thing, though, that people don't understand is that failure is really just you learning how to do the right stuff, right? Like, so for me, like, there were so many mistakes that we made when we started building Maestro. There were so many mistakes that we made when we started building other companies. And then there was like this period of time, and I think what stops people, here's what the biggest lesson I learned from failure, right? Here's the biggest lesson. The biggest lesson is that you have to keep your momentum, and that's what a lot of people don't do. When they fail, they take all this time recovering, right? So then it takes them a year. They fail at this, it takes them a year. I was like, the way I'm never going to, I used to be like, I need to beat failure. I need to avoid failure. And I'm like, that's just not how life works. You will never avoid failure. That's crazy, right? Like, you won't. I said, okay, I started to sit down and think. I said, how can I avoid this? I said, you know what? Instead of me trying to beat failure, I said, I want to play failure at its own game. I'm not going to ever avoid it. What I need to do is choke the life out of failure, right? Yeah. And the way that I do that is when it hits me in the face, I just keep hitting back. Right, so meaning that if my venture fails and I go out of business, instead of me going and wallowing for 2 or 3 weeks and losing my momentum, I'm going to sit there for 2 days and do some strategic thinking, and then I'm going to turn it around and see where I needed to do and apply the lesson. So you just gotta choke the life out of failure. You can't avoid it.
You do. I love it. Choke the life out of failure, and because it's false evidence appearing real. And you're right. A lot of us, when we go through those moments, some of us stay down, but we have to keep that momentum going. We cannot quit. It's part of us getting there. And it's a test for us. And some people, unfortunately, don't make it out of that. So what are some strategies for some people that might be listening, Justin, that are in that right now and don't know how to really come out of it,
It's kind of what I said. One of the most underutilized skills I think that's free is I just say critical thinking, right? But see, critical thinking is not the easiest thing to do, no matter even if you think. So a lot of us think that we think, right? We think that we effectively think. Right, but really we're just on autopilot. We're going with the flow of the emotions. The emotions swing us in one way. It swings us to the left. We blow with the wind, right? We're frustrated, then we're happy. So critical thinking really allows you to bypass the levels of emotions that you're at and say, how can I really turn this into a win? You have to start asking yourself questions like that. And that goes against the emotional level. Once you kind of get past the empathy portion of where you're at and the failures, like I always believe this, you don't need to be hard about it. You, as a human, you have to feel your emotions. You have to feel that. I used to think, being a man, I'm like, I got to be a man, right? And I'm like, well, I have to feel. I have to experience that human emotion. But then once you get past that human emotion, you have to click your mindset on. Like I cut on it's like a switch that clicks in me. I wallow in my stuff. I say, this sucks. I go through it, and then I create a game plan. You got to get right into creating a game plan. You got to sit down and you got to say, here's the ways I'm going to, it's like you're a strategist. Here's the ways I'm going to get out of it. Here's my back is against the wall. I'll tell you this short story. A couple years ago, not a couple, but maybe 5 years ago, my back was against the wall. I invested in a software company that we didn't even go anywhere, right? And my partner ended up stealing all of my money. It just was terrible, right? And my back was against the wall, and I received this foreclosure notice in the mail, and I was like, oh my God, man, it felt like death, right? I talked to my mom. She didn't have any money, which I knew that already, but I was just like, what am I going to do? My family wasn't talking to me. I was at the middle ground, right? For you guys to listen, middle ground. I was at the middle ground. And then I went through a really deep depression for a couple weeks, and then something happened, right? I was sitting down, and I said, this is the biggest thought pattern that shifted me. Justin, no matter how sad you are, nobody is coming to save you. Nobody.
Right.
Nobody's gonna bust through that wall and get you out your situation. Mm-hmm. So you can either sit here and wallow, or you can get up and turn your stuff into your power. It's totally up to you. And I sat there and I created a plan. In 6 months, I called the bank and I said, this is about to go to foreclosure, but I made enough money where you guys are going to give me a deal today to own my property free and clear. And they thought I was crazy. They thought I was crazy. I thought I was crazy when I made that call, okay? But
right.
in about a month period of time, they created a deal with me, and I paid off my house in cash back in Chicago. It wasn't a big number, but it was the fact that I went from a failure opportunity to really shifting that all around, because I decided that I wasn't a victim, nobody was coming to save me, and that I needed to step into my power as a person.
I love that. No one is coming to save you, and just embracing the middle ground, right? That's what I would take from that. Just embrace the middle ground. It's necessary. So we had our failures. Now, what did success teach you?
Success, right? So success really taught me that, the thing about success is also something we love to hate. We say we want it, right? But the thing about it is, success also, just like failure, reveals other characters to you. So I see a lot of people, I coach a lot of people, I have clients, and, it's like when we're talking about success, it's like, I want to reach this $10,000 a month goal, or $20,000 a month goal, $30,000, and then you reach it, and then you sabotage it, right? So what you have to do, success has really taught me that really success or failure has no meaning. I want you guys to hear this. This is something that changed my life. Success and failure has no meaning other than the meaning that we put to it. Okay? So success means good things, failure means bad, but then it's like we have this sabotage. I call it the saboteur, right? The saboteur is the thing that you have all these good intentions, you write your goals down and say, come here, you ain't going nowhere. And then you're back in your comfort zone. Come here, yes. What you think you're doing? You done made $5,000 a month all your life. What you think you're doing making $10,000 a month? Get over here, right? So yes. Success has really taught me that you have to allow for success to really reveal those things inside of you that you need to change. Because once you get the money, once you get where you want to go, like I'm a manifestation of what 5 years ago, I just wasn't ready for it. I knew 5 years I'd be living in this cool place that I want to live in Atlanta. I knew I was going to drive the car I wanted to drive. I knew I wanted to do it. But it's not even just about the money. I wanted to build something that if I left the earth, people say, Justin built a company. He built something that changed my life. And so but guess what? Along the years, along the journey, Saboteur said, come here. What you think you're doing? You're trying to build a company. You're trying to live somewhere great. You're from the hood. Get over here. You ain't doing nothing special. And that voice tries to, and you just, with success, you have to face that. And then success becomes a longevity thing instead of a one-time thing. You know people like this, Ashley, people who, they hit it big, they made $1 million and now they're broke, right? Or they
Right.
or they make a lot of money. That's because they might have had good intentions, but they never really faced the saboteur for long-term longevity.
Love that. I love that. Love how you put that. That long term. That's the key. We can all get it, but can we keep it? That's the key.
Can you keep it?
Can we keep it? I love that. So, Justin, I know you have some amazing things coming up. So I would love for you to share with all of our listeners all of the things that we can expect from you in the future.
Yeah, so we're doing some big things around Maestro, so you guys can, definitely take advantage of that. And one of the things that we are doing for you guys is, one of the things we want to do is obviously offer you guys the ability to try Maestro. Definitely, that's something that, and Maestro, by the way, is spelled Miestro. People think it's spelled MAE, but we rebranded it to Miestro. And one of the things is, I'm just going to continue to do what I talked about, which is, my site is justinburns.net. And I have different products. So we have Maestro. We have a community that we train. We teach people. We show them how to tap into all this stuff that I'm talking about, how to take their expertise for people to listen, how to take what it is that they're offering so that people are truly doing that. And then I do a lot of speaking. So, that's kind of some of the things I plan on doing more this year is really speaking and really just inspiring people to really live their true potential. So.
I love it. And you're going to be in D.C. at Black Influential, so tell us about that.
Woo, 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 woo.
Yeah.
So I will be at Black and Influential in Washington, D.C., and that's the 21st, I think, through the 24th. I think those are the dates, if I'm not mistaken. But I will be at Black and Influential. I'll be speaking in a couple more places. I'll be speaking at a Success event in Phoenix. So, yeah, I'm excited. But actually the date is that Black and Influential is the 21st through the 23rd in Washington, D.C. And that's blackandinfluential.com as well.
So you guys, if you're going to be in the D.C. area the 21st to the 23rd, please go out and connect with Justin. Please go out to the conference and support as well. It's going to be awesome. So definitely go out and support. So, Justin, please tell the listening audience how they can follow and contact you and pretty much buy your services as well.
Yeah. So for you guys that are listening, you want to connect with me, just, I always love to just connect with people. I think, even though, I'm running my company, I just love to just talk to people and see how I can help them and serve them. So you guys can actually reach out to me and connect with me. And my website is Justin Burns, BURNS, and Justin, JUSTIN, justinburns.net. You can reach out to me there and sign up for, our newsletter. And, I always post different updates and videos and different things like that. And then just email me. You guys can email me with what you heard today, and that's Justin@Maestro, Maestro.com. And then for you guys that are listening to this, I just want to, if you want to take your knowledge next speak to the world, we have a special offer that we are running for $1. Yes, $1. If you guys, it's kind of like a package deal that we're doing, but I want you guys to really truly take advantage of this, right? And so it's actually a $1 trial. And we give people $1 trial. Here's what we're doing. We're packaging our training. So I actually have a course called the Course Code Masterclass, right? And the Course Code Masterclass teaches people how to create their online course. And then we also give you the ability to try out Maestro. And so after you get a 14-day trial for $1. If you don't like it, you cancel any time. And after that, we have a special running for only $89 a month. Only $89 a month. You get access. And I always tell people this. If you give me 90 days, you'll have a transformed business, right? So we're getting so many testimonials out of that group. I think, Ashley, you've seen some of them. People are just like, I love it. I love the training. Oh, my God, this is changing my life. I actually had a lady who reached out to me, and I love this. I don't know how, because usually, you got those special inboxes on Facebook, right, that you look at and you be like, what the heck these messages come from, right?
Right.
And I looked in there and she said, Justin, I'm a part of your program. I just wanted to say I was able to make $10,000 in the last 2 weeks. just by going through the Course Code Masterclass, and I actually sold a consulting package, and I literally couldn't pay my rent. So I just like hearing stuff like that. Like people said their mindsets are shift. You know, they say they're making an impact. So in order to take advantage of that, guys, that dollar child, just go to Maestro. That's MIESTRO.com/go. That's GO. So Maestro.com, MIESTRO.com/go. Take advantage of the dollar trial that we are offering. You know, you'll definitely love it. You'll definitely get that ability, and you'll love what it is that we offer. So
awesome. So please take advantage of this special offer, you guys. Take advantage of it, and definitely go ahead and get the Course Code Mastery class. You know, he has results, of course. So you're right, Justin. I've heard many testimonies about this awesome mastery class. So listening audience, please go out and, you know, get it, and I'm sure it will be life-changing for you. And take advantage of the special offer. It's only $1 right now.
it's only $1, and we do sell this training for over $1,000. And I know people hype their stuff up, but here's the thing. Listen, I don't have time to hype it up. I'm just telling you guys that we are going to be changing it. But here's the reason why I offered it to everyone, because you're a part of Ashley Little's amazing community, and I'm just so inspired by what you're doing, Ashley, and just appreciate you having me on. And for you guys, if you want to change, right, we always invest in the wrong things. One of the things that I was able to do is that my company is pretty much 100% bootstrapped. In the tech field, that's very unheard of, right? Usually people have venture capital money. But here's I'm going to tell you a reason why I've been able to build my company from the ground up without having to take outside funding. It all came from the skill sets that I teach in the Course Code Masterclass. It all came from marketing. It all came from selling. It all came from the things. And people are still baffled. When I go to these meetings, they go, "Who's your investor?" And I say, "I'm my investor. I don't have any investors."
Yes.
And all of that is all possible because of what I teach you in the Course Code Masterclass. And imagine accompanying that together. You have the technology. You don't need anything else, and you can start selling your expertise. Yeah, again, just go to, lastly, Maestro.com, Maestro.com/go. Sign up for the dollar trial, and then reach out to me at Justin@Maestro.com and let me know that you signed up, because I want to give you also an extra bonus for signing up. I want to give you an extra bonus. If you're listening to this, a training that I did all on finding your purpose and also finding your expertise in the world like I've done. So I'm going to give you guys a bonus, but only through asking. You got to sign up for that. I don't usually give that as a bonus, and you got to email me and let me know that you've done it.
Love it. Please go do it now. Do it today. It's life-changing. And he's giving an extra bonus, so definitely go support. Justin, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to be a guest on my show today. You are amazing, and I would like to thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited.
Yes, and I look forward to definitely bringing you back on again. So thank you again. So next, I would like to give a special thanks to two of my mentors, Tammy Collins-Markey and John Schamberger. Also, I would like to give a special thanks to Dr. Larry White Sr. and author Kimberly McLemore. If you are in the Maryland, VA, or D.C. area, please come out and support the 10th Annual Black History Celebration in Annapolis, Maryland on Saturday, February 9th, 2019 from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. Sponsored by Dr. Larry White Sr. and VIP Event Concierge. We will have VIP speakers such as myself, Dr. Tashika Green, Dr. Valika Moore, Dr. Marcy Ross, author Kimberly McLemore, and author Linda Airy, and we will have our keynote speaker, Dr. Essie McCoy. So please support or donate to this amazing event. It will be kicking off this weekend in Annapolis, Maryland. So if you can't make it, definitely go reach out to Dr. Larry White Sr. and give a donation of support, or just come out if you are in the area and support this awesome Black History event. You all may follow me on Facebook at Ashley Little and on Instagram at _Ashley A. Little. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Creating Your Seat at the Table, where Ashley speaks with corporate professionals, celebrities, entrepreneurs, authors, and speakers who are transitioning or have transitioned to entrepreneurship.
This session is no longer being recorded. Presented by
Welcome to Creating Your Seat at the Table. I am your host, Ashley Little. A little bit of
on your radio show today, it's heaven.
yes.
The
Ashley Little. Welcome to Creating Your Seat at the Table. I am your host.
Good evening, and welcome to Creative Broadcasting,